How's it going, everyone? I'm Venomous Stare, and this is a ZVP best of 3 between Hero of Root Gaming in the bottom right and Snoot, the Macro Zerg in the bottom left. This is the deciding match, the ace match, game 3. And the map is Newkirk. I'm going to adjust the volume of the music a bit. And Snoot has gone for hatchery first, so standard macro play there. And if we look at the Protoss player, he's also going for fast expand. So both players going for the greediest openers they can so far. And a gateway right after for Hero. Pool gas here for Snoot. This is standard stuff after you expand for Zerg because of course you want to get the first 100 Vespene gas so you can get Zergling speed, and then a lot of times you see the Zerg player will take off of gas, especially Snoot, because Snoot is a guy who really loves drones, and we saw him do this in the previous games of this series where he took off gas and really pumped out drones, and in the Abyssal Reef game got a third base. Hero has double gas in his main, and he's opened double gateway. Double gateway opener is pretty good on Newkirk because the natural ramp is very, very big. And this is kind of hard to explain, but I find that some natural ramps are harder to wall off than others. And I know you might be saying, oh yeah, that's obvious because of the size of the ramp. Well, I think there's almost another factor, and that's kind of like how the lips of the top of the ramp are. And on Newkirk, it's deceptively wide. So I never really was a fan of playing Protoss or Terran on this map. Even though sometimes, at least whenever you played ZVT as Terran, once you took this third, you could do some pretty gnarly pushes up through here and then kind of drop into the main. But this game does not feature a Terran. This is a Zerg versus Protoss, and Hero is getting a Twilight. So in both of the games of this best of 3, Hero has gone for aggressive Adept-based play with Resonating Glaives. Double Ovi's going to pop for Snoot here to ensure that he's nowhere close to a supply block, and we can see that he did take off of gas once again. Hero is looking around, but the Lings are about to pop for Snoot, and there's really nothing to see early on in the game for Zerg, unless they're doing like a roach cheese or a really fast layer or something. A lot of times there's really not a lot to scout, especially a straight up guy like Snoot. So these Adepts are going to try to poke around. The Roach Horn did come down after the probe died, and the Adept might try to snipe some stuff. And where do the Adepts go? Safely out of the base, and they don't even really take that much damage, just 10 hull damage. Lings are coming out here. They run a little past the Adepts, but then they decide to try to catch the bullet in the future. And the Adepts are going to continue to run around. Now this is something that is very interesting that has kind of become commonplace in Legacy of the Void. You see Protoss players, they'll do these double Adept opener builds, usually off of 2 gateways, and then they can run around, but because of the phase shades, they're actually able to do a little bit of harassment and scouting. So the Adept is somewhat like a Reaper for the Protoss race. It serves a lot of the same purposes. Resonating Glaives are being chrono boosted here, and an Oracle is being chrono boosted out as well if we go to units. It's just Adepts and Probes so far, but the Oracle is about to finish. A unit that I nicknamed the Gooby. So here's the Gooby. Snoot's making a dirty dozen Lings in this ace match. He has a pretty decent economy right now, but not a whole lot of gas income, and we can see Adepts are going to come, but the phase shade will be cancelled. And here comes the Gooby. Spore Crawler already out, and Snoot's going to take some damage. This is what is really brutal about playing against Protoss, and here we go, engagement in the very middle of the map, and Roachling is going to engage upon the Adepts. One Adept goes down, 2 Adepts go down, and we can see the phase shade fooled even me with the observer vision. Oracle got 5 kills, so overall, with the Oracle getting 5 kills and another one coming in, I would say that was decent for Hero. and the fact that he's taking his third makes it even better. Double Adept is pretty good, but with Spore Crawlers out, you can't really do a whole lot in terms of massacring drones. You can poke and prod, you can put down Stasis Wards, but once spores come out in each base, you're not going to be killing 20 drones. Stasis Ward coming out, and Adepts are shading into the main, and the Stasis Ward only gets 2 lings. That could have been devastating, but here comes another one. This might need to be focus fired, but it does get down, and boom, it traps a few lings. So again, not as bad as it could have been, but Adepts coming back again. This is great micro from Hero. He's going back and forth as though the Benny Hill theme is playing, and then he basically set himself up for 2 good stasis traps, although it didn't work out. And here we see more Adept action, and the shades got cancelled, but in the back 16 drones go down. That was over in the natural, kind of a combination of attacking over here at the third and the natural. I know it said 16 there. 16 didn't die right here while I wasn't looking. That was a culmination of what happened between the 2 bases. One good thing about opening Oracle is you can continue to run around with him throughout the game. And once you find things with Oracles, they're actually very good because they have Revelation and Stasis Ward. So if you see something that you want to tag and not lose track of, you can do that. And if you want to predict your opponent's army movements, you can do that too. We saw Hero very interestingly tried to do that in combination with an aggressive build. And I think Snute actually microed pretty damn well to not just have all of his roaches get trapped, although it wasn't super obvious. We see quite a few lings have been tagged here, and let's just go to Hero's vision. He sees these lings. I mean, they stick out. I mean, I thought of a lot of analogies, and they were literally all race jokes. So these lings are very obvious, guys. Hero sees them, and he's not going to lose track of them or take a lot of damage to a counterattack. Adepts come in here. They start to poke and prod. 2 drones get gunned down. More drones are going to get gunned down, and whenever you have to pull drones to fight Adepts, it is so bad. And even with just 2 Adepts, that was 2 measly Adepts, 13 drone kills. Snute at this point has been brutalized in terms of the Workers Lost tab, and if we go to the Units tab, we see that Snute, plain and simple, does not have many workers. Now, Snute is an exceptional macro Zerg, but whenever your Protoss opponent really hasn't lost any workers, and he's on 3 bases, and you spend the entire game trying to catch up on workers, it can be very problematic. And +2 is on the way for Hero, the incredible Protoss player from Korea of Root, and he's doing a little bit of aggression here mid-map. It's always very dangerous blinking your stalkers aggressively just to try to cover more ground whenever you have a sentry-based army. Notice how many sentries are in this army. All these sentries have a buttload of energy too. This is very valuable. Adepts coming in once again. 2 Adepts are good enough to do devastating damage, but not a heavy enough investment to worry that much about losing. Here we go. Engagement very soon, I do suspect, as you see Stasis Wards being laid down as a contingency plan. Snute does have Ravagers for the force field abuse. Blink Stalkers, blink forward, and the Stasis Ward comes down. Beautiful force fields, phenomenal top tier. But my goodness, a lot of Ravager corrosive vials come down, and the Protoss player throws more force field down saying, "Ah, why isn't it working? Force field!" Because quite honestly, Snute said, "Okay, force field, I'll just throw my bile all over your army." And quite honestly, because the blink had been used, Hero was already so extended where he wasn't able to move all the way out of the bile with the lings attacking him. And he took quite a bit of damage. But as it stands, Snute is still down in supply. Remember, he is off of basically no economy, 41 drones versus 70 workers. And these are Protoss units, as Idra would say, and a 4th base has been finished. And what I mean by these are Protoss units, these are +1 Protoss units versus +1 Zerg units. The Protoss units, since there is a supply advantage, are going to trade better versus the Zerg units, especially once these disruptors get involved. My goodness. Blink Stalkers already, like a large amount of Blink Stalkers with upgrades, trade very well because they can continuously get back whenever they take damage. We can see here a little bit of miss-micro potentially as Hero didn't really conjoin his army like he could have, but it's irrelevant as Snute's going to back off and he's still at a severe economic disadvantage. And that is a huge deal because Hero can take lots of bad fights and make stupid engagements and miss micro and still be fine. Lots of Lings out here for Snute, and a Disruptor Ball comes out. Friendly Fire is more than it helps. And a Blink again, another Disruptor shot. But as it stands, the Protoss player is trying to fight and see, even with Friendly Fire Disruptor shot, Snute is not able to win it. And that plain and simple comes down to drones. And we saw the linchpin of that game, I would say, would be that Adept harassment. And even though it was just two Adepts, much like Banshees, whenever they are coupled together, one-shot workers, since, you know, it takes 2 shots to kill a worker, Adept and Banshee. Well, whenever you couple them in 2s, workers die in 1 hit. That's very, very troublesome to deal with, because oftentimes even the highest level of pro gamers will say, oh, well, it's just 2, you know, I can't really allocate a lot of army, or they'll underestimate how much damage is being done, or like Snute, they'll react and attack with their drones, but with Resonating Glaives, the Adepts just mow drones down. So if you enjoyed that best of 3 that Hero won, make sure you subscribe and click the bell notification icon, and if you've already subscribed, make sure you leave me a like rating. And I'm going to be coming out with more StarCraft 2 content, more wonderful high-level pro games. Have a good one, guys.